Because they get so engrossed in their life and how much better it is.
That would help if they...
Yeah, but a lot of times they don't think of going back. How many times have you moved from one place to another place on earth, had a better life, and never gone back to the original place that you went from? And this is exactly how they feel. Like, you don't want to go back because of some emotions that were connected with that first place generally, right? And so you know, you imagine if you've lived here for 100 years in the hills, and then you slowly progressed up, and then you made this transition. A lot of your memories still here, emotional memories of this location would be quite negative, would they not? And you'd lived 100 years of our time there, right? So it would feel like, oh, horrible, right? So would you want to go back at that moment? Now, a lot of times they might progress a bit further and then they realise, yeah, I do want to go back and tell them. But in that time, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of our time on earth may have happened. You follow me? So for many of them, they don't go back until they start getting on the divine path, because this is natural love path.
It's not that I want to go back, it's that I want to tell them I'm leaving.
A lot of times you don't even know you're leaving. A lot of times you've grown in love to a certain degree, but you don't know you have until the transition has been made. You follow me?
If I tell them I'm leaving, they'll understand why, and they might look at themselves.
Well, this is why I'm teaching what I'm teaching, is so that people learn all this on earth, and then nobody will have a problem with it, right? But the truth is that this is what happens because there's so much ignorance. There's so much ignorance in the first sphere. You know, when you go to a seance or you go to a medium or anything like that to talk to spirits, most of the time, you know who you're talking to? You're talking to first sphere spirits, right? Because they're the ones the medium can connect to, because she's not dealt with her emotions either, right? And so what's happening is a lot of the information you're getting is true information as it relates to the first sphere. But it's not the truth of the universe. It's only the truth as it relates to the first sphere. You follow me? So you might think you have a desire to go back, but many don't. And who will you go back to? Will you go back to everyone? There's billions of people there. Will you do that? See, most people don't. What they do is they go back to their friends, talk about it with their friends, and then they go on.
No, I want to do everything before I leave. I want to tell them where I'm going.
But if you don't know you're making the transition, how do you know that you can do that? You don't even know you're making your own transition.
Because that's ordained by God, isn't it, that transition?
Well, the transition is automatic as soon as you enter a new state of love. And you don't know that that is. See, many people, if they knew, they wouldn't be going through these terrible experiences. They'd already be up here, right? The majority of them would already be very progressed if they knew. The problem is in the first sphere, the majority of people are in ignorance. And so they don't know. And so they don't even know that when they make a transition in love, that they're actually going to go into a new location. They don't even understand that. So they don't know in advance. Until somebody tells them.
Someone there pushing you up.
Someone pushing you up. You can't be pushed up. It's all to do with love.
I think that if I'm moving, there's somebody there helping me to move.
There'll be a guide helping you, but a lot of times, even if you're in a first sphere state, a lot of times you will not trust anybody. Because you think of it, how many of you have feelings or emotions inside of you right now where you don't trust what you're hearing from me right now? You see, that's a prevalent emotion, is it not? Mistrust. Right? When you pass over in the first sphere, most spirits who are in the first sphere don't have any trust. Is it still about this subject?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This lady down here, so her hand's up.
Is it about this subject?
Yes, it is.
Then tell me, please.
It's about, we're talking about the evolution of love, natural love into divine love, and that's what the progression's all about. And maybe I missed something on the 2 DVDs.
Yeah.
But I can't quite figure out how, given who you are, you say you are, you are grappling still with issues of self-love.
All right. How many have an issue with that? Everyone? Yeah. How many of you expect Jesus to be perfect? Yeah.
No, I don't expect that.
No, I know.
My experience of Jesus, and I have experienced him.
Yeah.
It's always been of a being with extraordinary capacity to love.
Yeah.
So, and I have an idea that if one has a capacity to love, to give love, that first one has to love oneself.
True.
That's where I come from in that question. So this is where
True.
I'm a bit confused.
Sure.
I have that.
Here's all the spheres, and there was spheres up to 22nd sphere, right? All through that life, I never had any emotional damage at all, right? So I have the amount of divine love in my soul that enables me to live in that location. But as soon as I reincarnated, and this applies to my soulmate as well when she reincarnated, and remember that it has been prophesied in the Bible and other places that I was going to do this, that I was going to return, right? What happens is the emotional damage from my parents starts straight away filtering into my soul. And the memories that I have of all of that life, that 2,000 years in my case of life, start triggering all of these new emotions that I now need to deal with. You follow me? Now, I could have chosen to re-enter the earth without reincarnation. Because when you're in the 22nd sphere state, you can create a body at will. So you can actually...
Without coming through a birth canal, are you saying?
Yep.
Through a female body?
Yeah, yeah, you can materialise a form.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, any spirit above the 7th sphere can do that, and even spirits below. Who's heard of Anastasia? Who's read some of the... She's a 5th sphere spirit at the time of the writing who materialised a form, right? So you can materialise a form, right, on Earth. And so, but I chose to not do that because what that would do was actually worsen people's beliefs about myself. You follow me?
I hear what you're saying, but I'm not sure that I agree with your reasoning.
I know you don't agree with my reasoning.
The reason I don't is because I have a very close personal friend who has actually incarnated twice, not through the birth canal, and I utterly know that this is the case.
Right.
And she doesn't have these kinds of issues. She chose, you know...
Yeah, but you're saying that I need to make the same choices that she's
No,
made.
I'm not saying that you need to make the same choices,
Aren't
but
you?
I'm just... your reason for saying that you came through was that you felt you wouldn't be believed.
No, not at all.
Or that you wouldn't be able to have the same impact on people.
Certainly. Definitely would not be able to have the same impact. So what do I want to teach you? I don't want to teach you that I'm different to you. I want to teach you that I'm exactly the same as you.
Yes.
I want to teach you that you know, the only difference is be open and willing to experience all of your own emotions and pray for love.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the other things I want to teach, how am I going to teach you that if I don't live it?
Well...
Because I didn't live it in the 1st century.
Okay. I mean, it's not a teaching that I haven't heard before. I've also been to the Oneness University. They teach it there.
Mm-hmm.
This other being that I'm telling you about teaches the same thing and lives it.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived with her.
Mm-hmm.
She certainly experiences emotions, but it's how she experiences them that I learn from, and that is different.
Mm-hmm.
And she also is love, totally love.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly I see her teaching those things very effectively and lovingly with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you do too. I'm not wanting you to think that I am criticising or implying your criticism,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt that I needed to have some sort of understanding of that because...
Yeah, but see, I don't need you to believe who I am.
Of course you don't.
And in the end, it will become clear whether I am who I'm saying I am or not.
Yeah.
All right? And all I'm doing is telling you right now what my experience has been, that's all. All right? And I know for certain that there has never been another reincarnation since I was reincarnated. From before I was reincarnated.
If you need to re-experience all of these things again in order
I didn't need to.
Well, if you chose to do that in order for us to be able to believe you
No.
or to recognise...
No. It's so that I can demonstrate my love for you, and so that I can demonstrate what you also need to do if you want to become at one with God. I can physically demonstrate it.
Do you have to be Jesus though, in particular? Like
There's 14.
Just AJ and just be AJ?
But
And do
no,
the same thing,
I am.
say the same thing, because cut the Jesus factor out of it and you could be that.
But I am who I am.
But
And if I am going to remain in harmony with my relationship with God, I need to admit, not only to myself but also to you, who I am.
Though that it's necessary for it to say that, really, even because we probably could have been Melchizedek or Joseph or whoever else we wanted to be.
No, it's not about who I wanted to be. I certainly don't want to be Jesus. At the moment, I certainly don't want to be. It's just who I am. Like, one of the very first emotions I've had to deal with is uh-oh, and I'm going to have to say that I'm Jesus. And that took me 8 months of emotional processing to actually come to terms with being able to do that. Because I knew that all of you would have these reactions, right? These reactions of, but you don't have to say you're Jesus to teach these things.
But AJ,
Yeah.
I could probably happily sit and listen to you talk and teach the way you're teaching, very comfortably, very openly.
So why are you not
Whether
comfortable?
or not you told me you were Jesus.
But you're not comfortable with me telling you you're Jesus.
Well,
The truth
I
is
have-
you're not comfortable. Right now the emotion inside of you is you are not comfortable with me saying it. Same goes with yourself.
Well, that's probably true.
How many of you don't feel comfortable with me saying it?
And it's not anything.
It's okay.
The reason for me is that there's a lack of confidence in the way I believe it, and you're explaining that to me now, which is why I asked the question. With Jesus, as I understand him to be,
But this
my
is
limited
part of the
knowledge,
problem, is that
someone who isn't able to love themselves and grappling with
yeah, I know.
issues
This is
God.
part of the
That's-
problem, is that you all have misconceptions of me. All of you. All of you have misconceptions of the truth as well. You all think that somehow, like, you don't understand this soul damage thing that goes on at reincarnation, for example. Here, you don't feel it here in your heart. You don't realise the truth of it yet. That's okay. I'm just saying, this is what's actually happened. You don't have to believe any of it, but you will come to believe it, I can assure you, down the track. Now, I know that might sound arrogant, but I'm not being arrogant. What I'm just
Then
saying...
what, this is something I've actually had described to me before. I'm not having an issue with that.
You've had described people entering from the 22nd sphere into a split soul union state to come
Well,
down to earth. You've never had that said to you
maybe
before.
not exactly, but I mean much of what you teach. Maybe not this structure in the same sense, but in other words.
Of course, a lot of
You
truth...
talk of spheres, the Indians talk of lokas.
Of course.
Talk of, much of it is the same,
Of
except
course.
in a different language. I have heard it.
So, of course that's going to be the case, isn't
I
it?
don't have an issue with it. I absolutely don't have an issue with what you teach.
But you do have an issue with me.
No.
Emotionally, yes, you do.
No, I just had a question. I had a question which you've answered. See, I think you get quite defensive because you want people to reject the idea that
Do you feel I'm being defensive? No. Who's being defensive? Who do you feel is being defensive? See, how do you know my emotions if you're the one experiencing the emotion? See, I don't feel defensive.
I think I asked a question that a number of other people wanted answered as well.
Yes.
About how Jesus could grapple with issues of love.
And I've answered it.
Yes.
But not to your satisfaction.
No, that's fine because the question, then what came up over there was something quite different.
Yeah,
from
but
where I
the
was
point
going.
is that the answer isn't to your satisfaction. Emotionally, the answer isn't to your satisfaction. And there's a reason inside of you why that answer is not to your satisfaction. And that's because of some expectations you have of Jesus and what you believe Jesus to be.
Yeah,
And it's not who I am.
The question came from my belief that Jesus was someone who was I've experienced what I believed had been a physical
Mhm.
connection with Jesus in a very powerful way, and it was overwhelmingly full of love.
Mhm.
And I see you as a loving person too. But my question, and I guess it came from the intellect, was how then are you still grappling with self-love?
Mhm.
As I said, you've explained that.
But not to your emotional satisfaction.
Well, maybe I just need a little bit more time to.
Yeah, don't feel
integrate that.
don't worry about what I'm saying. I'm just saying I know that it's not to your emotional satisfaction, right? So while I've said all of this to you, it doesn't mean you're going to believe it until you experience it. And this is the case with everything I'm saying to you. All of this at the moment is just intellectual thoughts entering you through your ears, interpreted through your emotional state, whatever that state is, and entering your heart, right? This is all, everything I'm saying to you is like this. Every single thing you're hearing from me is a thought being transmitted through your ear, translated from language into feelings through your emotional filter, whatever your emotional filter is. Now, many of you have had a personal experience with Jesus emotionally. And yes, I am capable of doing that. It's just you don't understand that at the moment, right? You don't even know that you're capable of doing that, right? You're capable of interacting with other people emotionally without being present. You are capable of that totally. You don't know that, many of you yet, right? Some of you maybe understand that, but you don't know it. But those things are all possible and will continue to be possible. That doesn't change the fact that the person standing right in front of you is who is saying he is, right? Even though you may not believe it.
With the soul at 22nd level, or your soul at 22nd level, coming back, the quality of the soul, like there's the quality of love, I guess, in terms of the vibration.
Yep.
And then the descent into the physical realm.
Yep.
Does that taint the quality of the love?
Certainly, it's a very traumatic
Or
experience.
Does it just confuse? Because I'm a bit confused about, you know, the soul and its quality
Yep.
versus what it might be carrying with it, or is it the same thing?
All of your love can only be reflected through your emotions. That's how you transmit love to others, through your emotions. So if you have some emotional damages in there as well, doesn't matter how deep the quality of your love is, it will be passed through those emotional filters, right, to the other person. So what the other person will feel is the original love and some emotional filters, and that's what they receive.
So,
Then, of course, there's also their own emotional filters before they receive.
The quality of your soul now isn't at that level.
No, the quality of the soul can be at a certain level, but you still not feel it for lots of different reasons.
I understand that it could be blocked, or
Yeah. So you can't lose divine love once you've received it.
so. Do we all get born with pure divine love?
No. You get born with no divine love.
Okay. So
And this is a very important thing to understand, and I've felt that from a lot of you. Many of you didn't agree with that statement, right? And the truth is that none of you are born with divine love. Because to do that, God would have had to break the laws of free will. Do you understand? If God gave you divine love without you feeling for it in your soul, He would have had to force you to receive divine love against your will.
But that happened to you in the first century, didn't it?
No. No, I never received any divine love against my will, ever.
But you were born in divine.
No.
I thought you said you were, you never felt any.
No, I was born, and then some spirits cleared away the emotional damage that I received from my parents, and then I was in a pristine natural love state, but I still needed to ask for divine love. I did not have divine love at that point. You follow that? Yeah, very important to understand that.
I would imagine the concept of Adam and Eve having the first, what was the term you used, before they made